Hi, this is Dr. Alana McLaughlin back, and I want to go a little bit more in depth on the NES health screening and see what that looks like and all the information that we can get from this scan. So I'm going to use a case study here, and this one is actually on an animal. We can also use this on animals, and so I could talk a little bit more about what the scan and the accuracy behind it. So this is what comes up after we do the scan right away. And this first one is our energetic points that we can click on, and we can read more about what each one of these might mean in the description. And then we can also double click on it and see what meridian, if there's other points on that same meridian that are also being impacted by the imbalance of the system. So again, all of this is frequency based. This first screen, these are the potential points that can come up. These are the ones that are mapped out, and these are kind of the perfect frequency for each one. And then it takes the person or animal being scanned and it compares that to the perfect frequency. And then it picks out which ones are the highest priority for working on today. So in this case, we're going to see on here there are a few paranasal sinus, larynx mucosa, bronchial mucosa, a little bit with the spleen, a little bit with the small intestine, and then getting down into knee joints, feet, and then also thoracic spine. So I'll say in this case, this is one where there was actually an allergy response going on after a weekend of being out running on the sand and in the water. So we can see a lot of these allergenic responses, coming into play with a little bit of immune system, and then also some stiffness after. She is actually an 8-year-old dog, so she was showing some signs, within the thoracic spine, knees and feet, and actually had a little bit of stiffness afterwards. We can also take a look in here in this screen and see where those points might actually be a muscle component or more of a physical component rather than energetic. So again, we can see here coming up thoracic spine, a little bit with the sciatic nerve, knee joints, and looking into the toe joints. From there, we get into these informational points. These ones are going to be relating to our infoceuticals. So let me go over to the basic screen first. This is our foundation screen, our grounding, how well everything is balanced, how well we receive information, are able to shift. So that would be our big field aligner. You can see everything coming together. We want everything into alignment. So this would be the first infoceutical or liquid drop that would come up as one that we would want to balance. You can see also here day, night, polarity, and each one of those does have a description below. So in this case, we're seeing that grounding is coming up as one of the important factors for her. But again, it's an orange. We're looking for purple as being the highest priority. Then it goes to orange, then yellow, which isn't on the screen, then green, and then finally clear means that that pattern is actually really good right now, or it's not a high priority in the body. Okay, so from here we can now go into deeper layers, and these again are all going to be our infoceuticals, the liquid droppers, and what these are is they are programmed for specific frequencies. So we see on here our first purple screen is going to actually come up as the muscle driver in this case, which makes a lot of sense with the timing of the scanning and having a little bit of that kind of soreness after having a weekend of running, which is more activity than usual. And then also seeing a little bit immunity checking in, also spleen, having the allergenic response to something that was in the environment over that weekend experience for this individual. And we can take a peek in, and the muscle driver, each one is going to give us a description as well on the side that you will also have access to once we link it in. You'll get all of this information in a portal that'll be emailed you so you can connect online and read through this on your own as well. So looking at the muscle system, talking about physical action, the functioning, possible toxin buildup. It also will go into a little bit of the emotional. So sometimes a muscle driver can be more on the emotional component. It's not necessarily from a physical event, like in this case, but it's more on where we store different emotions, store different things that have happened to us. So that one can help releasing out by resetting that frequency using the infoceutical drops. Okay, so these are our drivers. These are kind of the energy per system. We start with our source, and that is our base energy. And we build up all the way up into one of the most, or more complex driver would be our bone driver. Then we can go over into our integrators, and here we can see we're getting a lot more complexity within the pathways and connections. So the integrators are like the roadways that are going to get the energy where they need to go. So on this component we can see here we have the thalamus field. We're starting to look at 4s. Again, this one's coming up as orange and not purple as a priority, but the next priority down. And we can see again paranasal sinus field. A little bit with hepatic flexure is going to be a 3, a little bit with the colon going on. And then we can also take a peek at the back, spinal nerves field. So again, tying in the activity of the weekend along with the paranasal sinus, that there's actually probably a connection, and this integrator would address both with doing this one infoceutical. From there, we're going to go into our deeper layers, and these are more advanced protocols, so most people are not ready to jump into these advanced protocols right away. But I want to give you an introduction. So we can look at the complexity of these ones, and the system was developed kind of in the order that we're walking through, with these terrains and the energetic stars being developed last. So they incorporated more information and a more complex system into these ones. But again, these ones are given as an infoceutical. So the first one here, just to give an idea, the central nervous system. Again, we have our description of what that looks like. A lot of this is healing messages, energetic immunity, looking at kind of the connection of different tissues and how it all ties in. A lot with the nervous system in here, myocardial field, a little bit with kidney function, and then the sphincters. We can look, all the way up through, it goes into some of them maybe neuro, stomach, looking stomach, duodenum connection. This also incorporates, we have a couple of liver fields and what field that might be incorporated in there, as well as bacterial, and the general energy of the entire body on this terrain level. So the terrains are working a lot with a cellular functioning. Finally, we're going into the stars, and these are a lot of our global functioning. So we'll see she does have a purple one coming up, the nerve function, and you can see it's going to involve all of the nerves within this energetic star system. Part of it, again, going through trauma, toxins, heavy metals, so some of those things can impact if this is coming up and there's not more of a immediate reason for why that might be. And then again, this one would be the infoceutical coming up. Cell metabolism is the other one in this case coming up for this individual. Okay, from there, we're going to look into the mind screen. This is supported by looking at love, chill, peace, liberator, and emotional stress release. And then for these ones for her, clear, but in general we could say, chill being yellow, she might need a little bit more calming, kind of bringing down emotions is what that one is. But each one is going to have a description that you'll have access to if these are coming up as a high priority for you. And on this screen we can also look at understanding your world. These are great little videos. You can go in and look more at kind of self-development, as well as this choice point, which in her case was clear, but it's going to be kind of 18 screens that go through and walking on kind of enrichment and kind of advancing yourself. And finally we look at these brainstem holograms, and these ones are a lot to do with different embryologic development or just events that have happened to us in the past that maybe our body's still holding on to that memory of it and we haven't quite been able to release it. So in her case, she has one here with digest, and without going into, there's a potential past emotional shock or anger which hasn't been able to be released out. So this may be something that would make sense to somebody and kind of bring that moment to them, or it might be something that you don't even necessarily remember, but it may be impacting your body, your body field. Finally, on this screen we can look at our chakra points and see how they look there, and these ones, along with the screen here of these mind points, are ones that I can also do in office using the My Health device. So I'm going to do your top 4 points here on this energetic screen, and then I'm going to look and see if I add in some of these points from this screen to help support and rebalance you and get you moving forward today in the office. I glance at these and I take these into account on the nutrition screen based on what we've talked about. And then same thing with the environmental screen. These are different components, you know, the frequencies in our environment, solvents, metals, different chemicals in our environment that your body might be having a hard time dealing with right now. And a lot of the infoceuticals that you'll note over here, there's infoceuticals that are associated with helping to clear those. So we don't necessarily have to do a specific detoxification to work through these elements. That a lot of times these are going to clear just by working through our series of infoceuticals that come up as your highest recommendations. Okay. Given all of that information, and that was very brief, so again, all of this is going to be emailed to you once you come in and do your scan. You will have a portal that you can go through and read through all of the different descriptors, look at your highest priorities and see what are other things we can do. You know, grounding. You can also do Epsom salt baths. You can walk barefoot, do earthing, things like that that also support grounding, yoga, meditation, whatnot. So it gives little tips on each of the categories as well for nutritional support as well as foundational, you know, things for lifestyle and bettering your overall health. All right, this recommendation screen, this is going to be the top 4 points that I will do with you in office to help open up those meridians. And then I will also add on here, you know, the mind points, chakra points, other things that might be beneficial for you based on the scan and based on things we've talked about. And then this bottom section is going to be for the infoceuticals. So the top, you know, generally I'll start with 1 to 3 infoceuticals depending on where you're at and your foundation of health is at. We can go all the way up to 6 and look at the different levels that we'll go into. So her top 3, if we were going to look, is going to be getting into muscle, spleen, and then her brainstem hologram that came up. So these would be the 3 I would go through with her. We can also look at the deeper levels though. If we bring in the foundation or kind of what getting more towards the core, if the vitality is ready, we can jump in and it would do the spleen, central nervous system, and then actually getting into some cellular energy with her. But we start at the basic for almost everybody, get the foundation, and it's kind of like looking at your body as an onion, and this scan is really looking at that outside layer. Then we're able to peel that back on the next scan, look and see what has shifted. Just by doing the scan, the infoceuticals, the points in office, it's going to shift so we can get deeper and deeper to try to figure out what's going on at the core. Finally, the last component I want to mention with an in-office scan is we are able to actually address physical types of things going on. So say this was a person who came in, had a lot of activity that weekend, was having a sore back, maybe some muscles, you know, some sciatic maybe going down the legs. I would actually take and I would program this in and do on the body. I would be going down the muscles of the back, looking into the different systems, the muscles, the nerve, joint, and also bone, and seeing if there's an actual tissue irritation to help release it out. So I've seen really great results, especially with, you know, musculoskeletal tension, you know, accidents, injuries, things like that, where we can go in, program into muscle frequency, put that on the body, and actually work and put that frequency in, and it's, you know, kind of helps release those muscles out to allow for immediate pain relief in office, which is great. And overall, we can also work through, you know, sleep support on here. I can program into the sleep function, immunity function. So this is a great tool. They are available for purchase. It's more of an investment, but if you're one who likes to do things on your own, this is also one. You can do so many different things on it by programming it in, basically, you know, helping yourself on a daily basis by working through your points and factors that are impacting your health right now. So that is my overview of the NES health system, and I hope to see all of you soon, and let me know if you have any questions. But I hope you enjoyed this video and got some more in-depth look into what we're doing with this scan and how much information there is, because it will give you way more information than I can go over in a short video clip. So thank you so much, and again, Dr. Alana McLaughlin, and I'm at Fairbanks Family Wellness.